You ever notice how some people can sit in complete silence? No music, no phone, no panic. They don't feel the urge to fill the space. They just exist. If that feels familiar, maybe it's you, maybe someone you know. There's a quiet psychology behind it. People who grew up in the 1990s carry a very specific, often unspoken mindset. Not loud, not dramatic, but deeply shaped by a world that was slower, less supervised, and strangely more intense in its own way. And today, that psychology shows up in subtle behaviors most people don't even realize are connected. Let's talk about it. Picture this. It's evening. No notifications buzzing. No one checking where you are. You're outside until the streetlights come on. That was the signal. No constant updates. No digital safety net. People who grew up in the 90s learned independence early. Not because they were taught it, but because they had to figure things out on their own. This created a mindset that says, I'll handle it myself. Even now, many of them struggle to ask for help. Not out of pride, but habit. Maybe that's you. You don't announce your problems. You disappear, deal with it, and come back like nothing happened. Then there's the emotional minimalists. Imagine growing up in a time where feelings weren't dissected in group chats or labeled in real time. You didn't have words like burnout or overstimulated. You just felt bad, or fine, or numb, and moved on. So people from the 90s often learned to compress emotions. They feel deeply, but express sparingly. They might joke instead of opening up. They might say, I'm fine, and actually mean, I don't know how to explain this without making it weird. Not emotionally cold, emotionally private. And if you're around them, you might notice something else. They're oddly comfortable with boredom. Waiting rooms, long rides, power cuts, no instant dopamine, no endless scroll. For the 90s mind, boredom wasn't an emergency, it was normal. And that wired a brain that can tolerate stillness, but also secretly craves stimulation now. That's why many of them bounce between extremes, hyper-focused for hours, then completely disengaged, deeply nostalgic, yet restless. Speaking of nostalgia, here's the twist. People who grew up in the 90s don't just miss the past, they anchor their identity to it. Because the world changed fast, from landlines to smartphones, from privacy to constant visibility, from be home by dark to share your location. So part of them is always translating between two worlds, old rules, new reality. That's why they might seem calm on the outside, but mentally exhausted inside, always adapting, always adjusting, always remembering when things felt simpler, even if they weren't. And finally, the quiet resilience. 90s kids didn't grow up being told they were special every day. They learned resilience through scraped knees, missed calls, and figuring it out after the fact. So today, they tend to downplay their struggles. They survive first, reflect later. Strong, not because they feel strong, but because they've been handling things quietly for a long time. So, which of these feels uncomfortably familiar? The independence? The emotional restraint? The nostalgia? The silent resilience? Maybe it's you. Maybe it explains someone you've never fully understood. If this resonated, sit with it for a moment. And if you want to explore more of the quiet psychology we rarely talk about, you know where to find this channel. Tell me in the comments, how did growing up in the 90s shape you?